Hello there, Internet. Back again with the second installment of our Atlanta Brains video series. And just to kind of recap, this is a project that I've had on my mind for a long time. And what I see is, myself sitting down with various influencers and movers and shakers here in Atlanta. So I'm honored, really, to be sitting here with our favorite DJ, DJ Blak Boy.
What's happening?
Yeah, so we're gonna go over kind of his story. I've known Blak Boy for a long time, back since our Georgia State days, back during Plaza days.
Right.
And so really, I remember going to Plaza and seeing you there, and then going to Opera and seeing you there, and then it seems like you got quiet for a second. Then next thing I know, you're on tour with Playboi Carti. Right. So can you kind of tell us about that timeline, like what happened from A to B?
Well, I had dropped out of college. That was the main thing. That's why I stepped back from the scene. I had made the decision that I was going to focus on just DJing and not trying to balance it with school anymore. And amongst doing that, I just really was making an adjustment from being a student DJ to being a full-time, DJ. And I just stuck with, doing the clubs and stuff that I was doing, the operas, all of them, the big college parties, all that stuff. Yeah, the sessions, Libra, all that stuff. I was doing all those parties, and eventually, I just started networking and meeting new people, and one thing led to another. Especially at Opera, at that time, Opera was a hot spot, so a lot of A&Rs and artists and stuff was coming through there, and eventually, built a relationship with a few of the right people, and that's when I transitioned to that big, okay, I'm back I'm on the road now.
Wow. So I know, man, I remember there were, just in Atlanta, period, there's a lot of DJs, there's a lot of music artists, a lot of models, just a lot of noise, a lot of clutter. Yeah. I'm curious about how you separated yourself, how you differentiated yourself, because one thing I know about the Blak Boy brand is that it's strong. Like when you say Blak Boy, people know who you're talking about.
Exactly. Man, just being my unique self, standing apart from the pack, and just always keeping a foot forward and just going first. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will tell you that a lot of things that they've seen, from other DJs or whatever, it's similar to stuff that I was doing, and I could never take it as a form of disrespect or anything of that nature, because I look at it as a form of endearment. At one point, when I first started DJing, I was looking for somebody to help me, start my career off, or somebody to look up to and stuff like that. And at that time, nobody was really too welcoming to me. So something that I did to make myself stand apart from other people, I'd be there willing to learn and help somebody that's coming under me or whatever the case may be, in their favor or whatever, just trying to give something to the community, to give back. And when I speak of community, I say the DJ community. And I felt like a lot of DJs were very negligent on, giving a hand back to, DJs that come before them. And I think that's what really what made the Blak Boy brand strong. Blak Boy's a guy that, somebody you can approach, somebody you can rock with, somebody that you can learn from, or somebody that you can teach. I never, no matter what I was doing, I never tried to make myself somebody that was somebody you wouldn't want to involve yourself with. And I think that's what made me the flame for the moth. You know what I'm saying?
No, it sounds like you moved with integrity, and it sounds like you developed and cultivated a really good reputation.
Yeah.
And that kind of helped, expand the brand, because I can imagine, people were having conversations about Blak Boy, and if nobody really has a bad word to say with you, everybody who has worked with you, whether they're learning from you or teaching something to you, all have good things to say. Then at a certain point, you hit that tipping point, and boom, you're on tour with Playboi Carti, man. That's interesting. I know you saw some interesting things on the road, man. What's tour life like? How do you manage that?
It's amazing, man. It's easy money, of course. And you get to see the world and doing something that you do for fun, So I really appreciate it, and seeing a lot of people go for it, for the wild, fast life. And you get yourself wrapped up into it, especially when you first start. But other than that, as I start going to different places, things changed from a LA trip to a Switzerland trip, and things just changed then, and you start to see the world differently. You know, being in a hotel on mountains and stuff like that. That stuff's different. You waking up to a peak and seeing, like, it's just when you see stuff that you've seen in, you know, textbooks when you was in grade school, and stuff comes in, you know, becomes reality. It's very surreal to me, and I mean, like, even now, as many times as I've traveled and been around the world and stuff like that, I'm still getting used to it, you know. So now, going from trying to party and stuff all the time and just have fun, and I mean, I still do that, but now I'm somewhat of a tourist, you know what I'm saying? When I go to these places, you just gotta soak that stuff up while you can.
Yeah, I could see that fast life, that party life getting
up.
old. I'm curious. I mean, how do you stay focused amongst all the noise and all the quick pace? Because I hear that tour, man. You get somewhere, you got your suitcase, you unpack, you there for 2 nights, and then you pack back up. How do you stay focused?
Man, it's crazy. I'm always, like I said, just taking initiative, moving forward. Like, I'm always moving forward. And with that being said, like, you know, going on a big stage or whatever, one of the biggest stages in the world, I don't really look at it as the biggest stage in the world, not to downplay it, but I feel like if you just put that type of pressure on yourself, it'll start to get to you. So that's how I was able to keep my focus, and, you know, like you said, that going to one city, one night, picking up, going, you get accustomed to that. It becomes a lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nah, so it sounds like you after a certain point, you develop the endurance, and then you get used to it, and that's really powerful what you said about being on a huge stage. Because I've seen some of your videos, and it's literally, it looks like there's thousands of people. I could not imagine, and I honestly dream of the day that I get to stand on the stage and do what I enjoy doing in front of 1,000 people, and not only do what I enjoy doing, but have them so engaged and enjoy what you're doing. And what's really powerful about the medium of DJing is, and a lot of people may not think about this, but you're really controlling the energy of the space. You know what I'm saying? Because if you play an upbeat song, then everybody is hyped. Or you can play an aggressive song and then everybody get angry. And I know, you know, you can play that one R&B joint where everybody, you know what I'm saying, the room get foggy. Yeah, man, what's your favorite genre to spin, or, you know, what do you like to play?
I really like hip hop. You know, I stick to the roots of it. You know, DJing was a form of it came from hip hop, so I like sticking to traditional hip hop. Whether it's new stuff, old stuff, it's my comfort zone. And I mean, I can do other stuff as well. I mean, I've done it. I've done the reggae parties. I've done the house raves and stuff like that. And I like house music as well. If we're speaking of something else, house music is definitely one of my favorite genres to DJ. It's such a seamless mix if you know what you're doing. I like house music a lot. But for the most part, I really like doing hip hop.
Okay, yeah, now that house music has that consistent beat that, and most of them sound the same, but there's just different melodies around it, so you can blend it together really nicely. Yeah, I enjoy house parties, but I'm really liking what you said about being on tour and seeing different things, and then you painted the image of the mountain, you know, being in the hotel of the mountains. Do you have a favorite place that you've been so far on tour? Like a most memorable place?
Well, of course, that was Montreux, Switzerland, but other than Montreux, I like Zurich, and I also like some places in the States, usually Northwest USA. The air is cleaner.
Northwest, like Oregon area?
Like Oregon.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Oregon.
I love the air is different. It's just a little bit cleaner to me. I like China. Been to Shanghai before. It's just amazing to see the difference in culture, you know, and just learning new things, eating some of I like Chinese food, so being there and eating, you know, some real genuine Chinese food was good, you know, and I mean, there's so many places, man. Mexico is a dope place.
I heard good things about Mexico.
Man, like,
I heard the cost of living is low there too.
Right. Australia's nice. It's so many great places, and I tell, you know, a lot of people that do the touring thing to take advantage of soaking up what's around you. We get so wrapped up in being in one city for a night or maybe 2 nights and just doing what we're supposed to do there and going on about to the next city. But I mean, like, if you take a moment to soak up that stuff, and I think what really made me become more seasoned with it and more comfortable with it, is like when you soak up that stuff, you just feel different spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Like you're soaking up something different.
Yeah, you're expanding your consciousness really.
Right.
You're seeing that you're going to a place and seeing that people live life a different way than what you're used to, and I can see where that can definitely be not only inspiring but also empowering, because now you feel like a part of a larger human family rather than, you know, being here in America and divided by certain things that are really arbitrary. But you go other places and see that it's not like that everywhere.
Right.
So we're talking about the tour life and all of the different scenes, but I also know, you know, with you touring with, you know, a pretty big artist, I imagine that you've crossed paths with some pretty influential people. I mean, can you think of any people that you met or like any particularly impactful moments that you had while you were on tour?
So happened to I ran into Pharrell twice, and both times I ran into Pharrell, he was behind me, and I knew I knew there had to be symbolic of something. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one song on In My Mind, when the song You Can Do It Too. So that song really stuck with me until even to this day. But yeah, just meeting like having Pharrell and you know what I'm saying. And then the party I was DJing, Pharrell was at, like in the section behind me. I'm like, that's crazy. Like that's mind blowing. But also back to Montreux, which is one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. But meeting Quincy Jones and at the Montreux Jazz Festival, it was us and Tyler the Creator as the only hip hop acts on the whole festival. Everything else was like heavy jazz. But he knew our road manager knows Trombone Shorty. And Shorty did a dope set that night at the Jazz Festival, and he got invited to Quincy Jones' after party. Wow. And so of course we got, you know, invited, and I happened to tag along. And just being around somebody like that, you would expect for them to, like when I meet people like that, I don't get like super, oh my God, like I view people as humans first, you know what I'm saying? And that's the most important thing. You strip somebody all the way down to bare nothing, they're a human, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, it was a dope, fulfilling feeling that I had, you know, just to be around somebody of that stature. It was nothing like it wasn't no look down on you type thing. He made sure he got us some drinks. It was dope, like being a nice host of the whole, you know, party and whatnot. It was just a great feeling, man. And we didn't talk much about no music or nothing like that. We just enjoyed the time that we had in Montreux, Switzerland.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it was just, you know, I've always wondered when's that feeling of I've made it is gonna kick in. And I mean, like, rubbing the elbows with those people, it feels like that and stuff like that. I mean, even being around Pharrell and stuff like that, it's just, all I can say is just I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. That's how I know. Being around these people, how did I go from DJing off of a computer, off a laptop on computer speakers in the flats for free, to hanging out with Quincy Jones and Montreux, Switzerland at this jazz? That's, you know what I'm saying? That's something that sticks with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I can agree that once you align with your purpose and then you just kind of stay focused on doing what you're doing and don't let all of the hype and all that stuff get to you, then things just kind of grow.
Right. Going back to, I guess we're going back to how do I stay focused, is I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't want it to sound like I'm arrogant or cocky, but I know this is what I'm supposed to do. Because if it wasn't, all the stuff that I tried to do before and tried to go back to and do and stuff like that, if college was what I was supposed to be doing, I would have graduated. If playing sports is what I was supposed to do, I would have been professional. You know what I'm saying? What you're supposed to do is already there for you. It's just a matter of how you get there to it. You know what I'm saying? It's already destined for you. So I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Now I'm in the mind of how am I going to maneuver the correct way to get to that I've made it point. I've had some, oh man, I feel like I made it moments, and but I want that I've made it moment to kick in soon. But it all with timing and everything. But I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Man, that certainty is probably what's driving you, right? And also that keeps you present, and that also, I imagine, drowns out all of the background noise. So I can see how that keeps you focused, just knowing that this is what you're supposed to be doing. And that's really powerful, because I feel like a lot of people get in a position and they let ego kick in, or they may become a slave to their impulses and desires, and or they just get really prideful, which goes back to the ego point, and kind of put themselves in a position to where they self-destruct. And then or I think what it is kind of a self-sabotaging thing, because deep down they feel like they're not supposed to be there. So the fact that you have that certainty is really powerful, and I know that that's what's gonna kind of drive you through to that I've made it feeling. Now, you know, we're approaching the end, and I just have 2 more questions for you. One of them is, you know, and you kind of already went over this, but with you having accomplished what you've already accomplished, and knowing what else is in store for you, how do you stay so humble, man? Because it's like, honestly, I'm still sitting next to Denzel from Georgia State, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people see Black Boy, but I'm still sitting next to Denzel. So how do you you know, keep a level head? I
just got memories of being a kid growing up. I spent a lot of my time at my great grandparents' house on like somewhat of a farm kind of. So I remember waking up at like 6 in the morning, walking out, and just watching the sunrise. And I know that sounds so crazy and corny, but like stuff like that I did, which was days, you start to appreciate things. You appreciate the air, you appreciate the sunlight, you appreciate the clouds, you appreciate the sand, you appreciate the grass, the ants, the bugs, everything. You appreciate it all. So all this stuff that I'm around, it's dope, it's cool, it's fun, but the way I was raised, the way I came up, I just came up from a very humble place. The people that raised me taught me that, you know, the things that you can acquire can also go away from you just as fast as you got it. You know what I'm saying? So I've never just thought of I'm not saying I'm downplaying myself, but I never thought of myself bigger than what I am. You can be the biggest person in the world, but you have to also remind yourself to not think you're bigger than what you are. And I think, and the way I think, I feel like I'm just as important as the president of the United States, or I'm just as important as, you know, the person that's delivering babies at the hospital. I'm an important person. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I just, like, it all goes back to everybody being a human being. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, like I said, you strip all that stuff away, what do you have? And I feel like I can at least let my, you know, who I am, my humbleness shine. And I'm always down to just keep learning and keep growing. So I think that's what keeps me humble as well. Always knowing that there's something new to learn, there's something new to experience. So I think that's what drives the humbleness.
I agree with that. And one of the things, I'm kind of in a place too to where a lot of the things that I've been striving for are starting to come to fruition. And I wondered, like, and I've kind of been here before, but I fell victim to the whole self-sabotage for not believing that I was supposed to be there. But this, I've noticed that what drives me now is once I do reach any, you know, particular checkpoint, then I'm thinking about another bigger goal. Okay, we did that, what's next? You know what I'm saying? And so I can see where that kind of just keeps you humble, because, you know, I got this, but I'm trying to get here. And then when you get here, you're trying to get here. So on that note, and this will be the last question, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. What's next, man? What's next for Black Boy?
Man, just the whole Black Boy brand is just, it's still, you know, expanding. I'm doing my events, sticking to the production thing and growing with that. And it's just so many things that I'm just gonna bring out now. You know, the DJing is what got me my recognition, but there's so many other things that I do. I started off as an engineer and a producer. Then I started rapping. I was a songwriter. I was helping people write stuff. So, you know, even though it was such a small scale at that time, DJing was small scale as well at one point. So I know if I just get the right game plan behind that stuff, all that other extra stuff is gonna come out too. So it's just expansion of my skills and letting the world see more of what I have to offer other than DJing.
Man, that's exciting. I've heard some of the beats that you're putting together. And I can definitely hear that Southern influence with some of the bass heavy stuff. Man. So I'm excited to see what we got coming out, or what you got coming out, man. And you know, as just an Atlanta Brains alumni, because honestly, you were probably one of the first people who we got the Atlanta Brains, or who we got the Atlanta Brains on, and I remember you wearing it at Opera, and I remember being at Opera looking up at the booth and like, bro, this man is wearing my shirt, bro.
Right.
So yeah, man, I know I've seen you do a couple interviews in that, so I think it's about time we get you a new one.
Appreciate that.
So there you go.
Yeah,
man. There you go.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming out, man. Thanks for sharing the insights with the people. Is there anything you would like to leave them with? We'll need the Instagram.
Man, oh yeah, everything go djblackboy.net. Everything you will see on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
awesome.
One-stop shop, man.
Bad. Any powerful words of wisdom or anything?
Man, grow.
Grow.
That's what it's about.
That's
man.
it,
Grow.
man. You gotta grow.
Right. That's
Nice.
what it's all about.
All right. Well, signing out, guys. Thank you again.